Hi, I'm PNC Joe, and I only talk about commercial insurance. Bodily injury liability is a critical issue for small business owners, as it deals with the responsibility of covering medical expenses and damages if someone gets hurt on your property. It's significant because without proper coverage, a single accident could result in overwhelming financial burden, potentially jeopardizing your entire business. Navigating the complexities of this type of liability requires understanding legal obligations, evaluating risk factors, and ensuring adequate protection tailored to your specific business needs. Keep watching because in this video we will discuss these important topics. Understanding bodily injury liability. What does bodily injury liability cover? What is the difference between per person and per accident limits? How is fault and negligence determined? How do state laws affect coverage? What happens if damages exceed my policy limits? Are there any exclusions to bodily injury liability coverage? How does bodily injury liability work in no-fault states? And a bonus topic at the end. Let's go through these points one at a time. Bodily injury liability is a type of car insurance coverage that helps pay for the medical expenses of other people if you are found responsible for a car accident. This means if you cause an accident and someone else gets hurt, your insurance may help cover their hospital bills, doctor visits, and more, subject to the terms and conditions of your policy. It's like a safety net to protect you from having to pay all those costs out of your own pocket. Bodily injury liability may cover several important things. It can help pay for medical expenses for the people hurt in the accident. If they can't work because of their injuries, it might also cover their lost wages. Sometimes it may provide money for pain and suffering, which is the emotional distress caused by the accident. If someone unfortunately passes away, it can help pay for funeral expenses. Lastly, it may cover legal defense costs if there's a lawsuit against you, depending on your policy. When you buy bodily injury liability, you choose coverage limits, which is the maximum amount your insurance will pay. There's a limit per person and a limit per accident. Per person limit is the most your insurance will pay for one person's injuries. Per accident limit is the most it will pay for all injuries in one accident. For example, if you have $50,000 per person and $100,000 per accident, and 3 people are hurt, the insurance will pay up to $50,000 for each person, but no more than $100,000 total. Fault and negligence mean who is responsible for the accident. If you are at fault, it means you did something wrong, like driving too fast or not stopping at a red light. Insurance companies use police reports, witness statements, and other evidence to figure out who is at fault. Being negligent means failing to be careful and causing harm to others, which makes you responsible for paying for their injuries. Every state has different laws about how much bodily injury liability coverage you need. Some states require a lot of coverage, while others require less. It's essential to know your state's minimum requirements to ensure you have enough protection. If you have a car accident in another state, that state's laws may apply, which can affect how your insurance works. If the cost of injuries is more than your bodily injury liability limits, you may have to pay the extra costs yourself. For example, if your policy covers $100,000, but the total medical bills are $150,000, you could be responsible for paying the remaining $50,000. This is why it's important to choose enough coverage to protect yourself financially. Yes, there are some exclusions. Bodily injury liability doesn't cover your own injuries or the injuries of your family members in the car. It also doesn't cover intentional harm, which means if you hurt someone on purpose, your insurance won't pay. Additionally, it doesn't cover damage to other people's property, which falls under property damage liability. In no-fault states, your own insurance pays for your injuries regardless of who caused the accident. However, bodily injury liability is still important if someone sues you for severe injuries. In these states, personal injury protection, PIP, is also required, which covers your medical expenses and lost wages, no matter who is at fault. Bodily injury liability covers other people's injuries if you cause an accident, while personal injury protection, PIP, covers your own injuries and sometimes your passenger's injuries, regardless of fault. PIP often includes medical expenses, lost wages, and other costs related to recovery. Both types of coverage work together to provide comprehensive protection. Higher bodily injury liability limits usually mean higher insurance premiums, which is the amount you pay for your insurance. However, having higher limits may provide more financial protection from expensive medical bills and lawsuits. Your premium also depends on factors like your driving record, age, and the type of car you drive. I hope today's journey through bodily injury liability has shed light on its importance and intricacies, helping you feel more equipped to protect your business and personal assets. By understanding these vital components, you can make informed decisions that secure your financial future and provide peace of mind. If you have any questions or ideas for future videos, please let me know in the comments below.